Hey guys, this is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to scroll through a bunch of photographs from my Instagram while I tell you the latest inside information that I have coming from inside the bowels of the Rolex factory in Geneva, Switzerland. That's right, together we are going to literally pierce and throw back the veil of secrecy, usually covering that Swiss company that we all know and love so well. You can follow me on Instagram at Chicago_dog_trainer. Please go ahead and throw a like on this video, and when you're finished, subscribe to my channel. It's going to be a crazy year. Let's do this one together. In March, Rolex announced that they would be closing for 10 days per Swiss government edicts against gathering in workplaces. And then quickly that announcement was extended to close Rolex for a full 30 days well into April. Now, I got a copy of that from an inside source related to Rolex, and we have some new information now. Not earth-shattering, but I'm going to share with you everything that I get because that is my pledge to you. Full disclosure. So, here is a letter that I've received from a mole deep within the factory at Rolex, and we will talk about the implications of this after we get through the letter. It goes like this. Hi, Mark. Certain employees at Rolex are receiving telephone calls today. And today, by the way, is March 27. Certain employees are receiving calls from their managers informing them that Jean-Frédéric Dufort, he's the CEO of Rolex, will be talking to the Federal Council, Canton, and that is a governing body in Switzerland, to see if they will allow Rolex to open for a limited number of staff to help with economic growth. This will also be for the purpose of distributing the existing stock to dealerships worldwide. It is also being suggested that a small number of watchmakers could return to work to also help with the economic growth. This is not a full opening of Rolex, and it's only being put forward to the Federal Council, Canton, for economic growth purposes only and on the basis that the separation and hygiene of the employees is strict. The vast amount of employees will, of course, remain at home on full pay, and the return is on a voluntary basis only. Regards. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and pick this letter apart line by line. So the first thing that we know is that certain employees are hearing from their managers, and what they're being told is that the CEO, Jean-Frédéric Dufort, is asking the local governing council if they can open on a limited basis with a certain number of staff. So that seems like a logical thing to do. But the next thing I think is almost even more interesting because they're delineating what the purposes of that request to reopen partially and early is. So the first purpose would be to distribute existing stock to dealerships. So what that tells us is that those people basically ran out of the Rolex factory, completely understandable. They turned out the lights, and they probably left vaults full of watches that had come out of the pipeline, had been ready to go, had their COSC certification, etc., but were not yet shipped out to the authorized dealers. As I've mentioned in the last couple days, a variety of customers who have been waiting for certain hard-to-get Rolex watches have received calls from the authorized dealers recently, and my friend Tan suspects that that's because the ADs are pulling stock out of the safe that they've been holding, and I also think personally that a lot of watches got redesignated and shipped that were going to go into the Asian market. That closed way before the North American and European markets, so I think some of those watches got diverted over here. Now, if more watches are shipped from Rolex into the authorized dealers, that's going to really be helpful for the ADs. I know a lot of these guys are closed, but they're working from home and they're able to make phone calls to their clientele and offer watches. So, guys, if there's something that you're looking for, this would be a very good time to email your authorized dealer and ask them how they're doing and let them know about your interest levels. Do it today, tell them I sent you, and that is because they may in fact be receiving a little bit of additional stock soon, and then after that, well, boy, I think it's going to be a drought for quite a while. So although I think Rolex prices are going to trend down, when this all sorts out, there's going to be pent-up demand. There will have been very, very limited supply, and so I think you'll see prices bouncing right back up as long as this nonsense doesn't last too crazy long. Rolex is also going to be asking that a small number of watchmakers return to work. with the idea of some economic growth. That'll be really interesting. What exactly did they want to build? Well, we don't know, but presumably it would be the expensive stuff. So I don't think they would be cranking out any more Datejusts. What exactly do you think Rolex would want to build if they are able to get a few watchmakers to return to work? Let's talk about that one in the comments. And remember, I will be there with you reading every one of them. Now, real quick off the topic of this letter and on to the photographs that you've been seeing. My life is composed of my work, which is dogs, and that has a lot to do also with my passion in life, which is dogs and writing about dogs. And you're also seeing a kind of a smattering of my collection of watches, and my watches run from the sublime, like the Rolex Sky Dweller, all the way to the ridiculous. Somewhere in here, I think, is a Phoebos watch. And so you might say, Mark, why do you own watches that are like, good, like Rolex, and then such stuff that, doesn't belong in your collection? And I guess I would answer that question by telling you, I really like watches. I really, really like watches. And to me, collecting watches, it's like food. Yes, I really enjoy a fine wine and a lovely, baked Alaska, or I don't know, something exotic. I love to go to Spain and eat the paella right out of the restaurants by the seashore. But, I really like a hot dog too now and again. So my tastes are varied, and I don't think we should be snobby about watches. I like what I like. I can't help myself, guys. What do you think about the range of my collection? A lot of people think I should sell everything and just buy 5 identical Pateks, but I refuse. I like my low end. I like my high end. Remember, please subscribe. This is going to be a crazy year, and I'd like to bring you all the information I can. Also, hit like on this video. Now, before we conclude, let me give you some of the conclusions that I'm drawing here. First, a lot of people are putting into my comments, hey, you're crazy. All the authorized dealers are closed. No one's getting a call. No one can get a Rolex watch right now. And but really, if you take the time to read very detailed through my comments, you'll find that there are an equal number of guys saying, oh my God, I just got the call. And so a lot of the authorized dealers are working from home. They have stock that they've perhaps brought home, or maybe they're running into the store to get it. Let's just say the authorized dealer has to survive. It's very important. If we want our supply chain to come out of this disaster of the economic shutdown, and if we want access to the watches that we know and love, then remember, the authorized dealer is the guy who stocks millions of dollars of watches, so we don't have to. And that's important. So guys, remember, your AD may be calling you, and if you're on a list, you might want to call them. Looks like Rolex is going to attempt to send some more watches into the marketplace, ones that are already distributed. Tell me what you think of this. Let's talk about it all in the comments. Thank you so much for being with me.